Hi everyone, it's Granny Pants, and I'm back with a new little microphone. I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, then I didn't have to worry about my webcam or my phone or missing a beat or anything like that. And I'm using my gimbal, so it's following me. It's following me all over the place. Oh, don't forget to do that. It's mirrored. I don't know how to unmirror that, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Or you can do that right there. Oh, it's been a couple weeks, hasn't it? So, Eric's hip replacement surgery is done, and boy, it was a whole thing. Whole thing. I don't have his permission to discuss it, but it was crazy town. I mean, the surgery went well, but the aftermath was like a disaster of his own making. And I got looped in. I'm trying to calm the situation down, trying to be reasonable, trying to explain. We had all these things lined up that maybe you ought to do or need or whatever. And he just blew it all off. And then when he got home, he found out that term found out was going around a lot here lately, isn't it? But anyway, um, so back to the hospital we went, and then back to rehab he had to go. And now I think things are settling down. Then I think I mentioned to you I had little shoulder things going on. Let me see if I can raise that up just a little bit. There we go. Oops, wrong way. My new toy. I know, right? Ah, this is fun. Anyway, I went back to the doctor and oh, come on now. Want to get over here? Ah, no. Okay, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm just playing there. Oh, okay. So I found out myself, and that is this shoulder that I had the surgery. Oh, come on, this is not right. I can't do this. Come back over here. Come back over here. I want tilt locked. Go back. Oh, I know what I did. I know what I did. I know what I did. Okay. Um. So this is the shoulder I had surgery on 5-6 years ago, and the X-ray showed that my clavicle is starting to want to impinge again. And in between the joints there, AC joint, I've got arthritis and calcification on a different part. And so that's why when I was trying to reach or lift or push or pull, it was grindy. So, shot in the arm, don't grind, don't push, don't pull. Let it settle down. And then we're going to have to go back in there and clean it up after this thing calms down. So that means I got shoulder surgery in my future. This shoulder has bone on bone like this. They're stacked on top of each other. They're supposed to be like this, but it's not the clavicle. It's the actual shoulder, two shoulder bones on top. So they're like stuck together. Don't push to pull, don't push, don't pull, don't reach, don't lift because they could snap. And you don't want that to happen. So, shot in that arm or shot in that bone. Man, they both did not feel good. But after like the first, it's okay. So it's the night after and the day after they get really sore. So anyway, I got to have surgery on that to get it separated. But if you remember my first surgeries that I had, shoulder surgery in the back, you can see in the personal stories and challenges playlist from about 5-6 years ago. I got to take my sling off the next day, and they said get moving, and I'm like, all right, and so I did, and it was okay. Real proud of myself. So yeah, that worked out okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, girlfriend. So it's just probably gonna be like May, June, that kind of thing before we get all that done. In the meantime, for me, I have, oh yeah, you see the walker over there? I've graduated. Woo! I don't use it much. I'll tell you. I'm vain that way. I don't want to be seen in public with a walker, but I have one. Bought and paid for by me, nobody else. And so I have to have, it's, every woman has to do this every year. But I've got all my tests scheduled for like early spring, so the follow-ups would be 6 months later. So I can avoid the winter months altogether and just stay home. So upcoming in the next like 3 weeks is mammogram, DEXA scan, CT of my lungs to track that lung nodule. I've got to have pulmonary function test, echocardiogram. Got to have my pacemaker recalibrate or calibration, possibly a pocket revision because it's moved to the middle. Nuclear stress test. Remember when I did that? That's my number one video on my channel is how the nuclear stress test works. Number one, above everything. It gets like over 1,000 views a week. But this time for me, no treadmill. I'm like, okay, no treadmill. Why? I don't know. What's the challenge in that? But I don't know why, but they said no treadmill. So that means I'm going to be laying on a bed and they're going to have all the leads on me and everything. And they're going to push that medicine that makes your heart just go blah, 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 to see how much I can take. And then they'll reverse it. And I won't have to be on the treadmill trying it at the same time. Okay. So what else? Echocardiogram, treadmill, CT of my chest, esophageal barium swallow test. I did that before. If you remember, I did that before. They scheduled the rescoping, but then all of a sudden, you need a pacemaker. Oh, when are we going to do that? In a couple of months? No, next week. So that kind of happened. Couldn't lay on my side for a while. So that got rescheduled and then kicked off and kicked off and kicked off. But anyway, so back to reestablishing what's needed with a new, fresh swallow test thing. I think I'm going to bring some of my pills with me so they can see how freaking big they are and why I'm having trouble if they'll let me use them. I don't know. But so all those tests have to be done. And then the 2 weeks that follow the end of all of that, I've got to go back to do all the follow-up with all the doctors. After that, I should be good until October. But in between then and October, I got to have 2 shoulder surgeries and a pocket revision for my pacemaker. So that's what's going on with me. Who's here to help Cathy? Who's going to help drive her places? That's right. Nobody. So I got to work that out. So, oh well, I'll work it out. So anyway, that's what's happening here, and lots of politic things going on. I don't think I'm going to talk about that right now, because I tell you, if you got Medicaid, you better go get everything, every test, everything. Now I got Medicare and extra help from Social Security and pathways, because while I was waiting on disability and all that, I had to spend all my 401k. It's gone. And if you still have a 401k, it's going to be gone soon too, because the stock market's crashing $3 trillion a week. On those libs, though, right? Okay, so if you have Medicaid, or you have family with Medicaid, or your family uses, I suggest you go now, schedule all your tests now, get it done, because after they vote on this budget and he signs that into law, and those committees meet and say, oh, 800 billion, I mean 180 billion, oh yeah, that's how much Medicaid costs, let's get rid of that, because that could happen. And it's more likely to happen than not, unless all the people that sat on their couch for the last election rise up and do something and protest, or I don't even know. Our Republican things, they won't even do a town hall anymore, because they think everybody that goes there is a paid protester instead of somebody with a valid gripe. Fools, bunch of fools. Anyway, for those that are farmers, or people that rely on things that have been, money's gone, disappeared on you for it, you're in the find out stage now. We tried to tell you. But no, on those libs. Anyway. Oh, and look up the difference between trans. Oh, I have to say this. I just have to say this to show you how completely ignorant the president, the orange maniac, is that you voted for. Cut funding for trans testing, research on mice. If you knew even a little bit of science, you would know that the research is called transgenic, GENIC research. And that's where they test out vaccines and treatments and cancer treatments and stuff like that before we get it. They change the DNA a little bit to see in a mouse to see if that's going to work or if that's not going to work. And wouldn't you rather just, if it don't work, wouldn't you just rather lose a mouse than your spouse? So there's a difference between transgenic research, and there's no research on transgender. So that's how stupid the people are that the Cheeto Mussolini are putting in. And he's ignorant too. He don't know the frickin' difference. This is how stupid. You can be loud and object and this about this policy or that policy, but when you go voting stupid, ignorant people into office that have no clue what they're talking about, you get everything you deserve. Have a good day.